InGen is attempting to create mutated dinosaurs with mixed DNA on an island near the equator. Unfortunately, an employee drops his Snickers bar wrapper and it floats around like Final Destination, then enters the system. The wrapper destroys the containment. One of their D-Rexes, a massive tyrannosaur with 6 limbs, wreaks havoc and kills the employee. But 17 years later, Martin Krebs, a high-ranking executive at a pharmaceutical business, wants to utilize dinosaurs and their fluids to create a drug to enable people to live longer. He enlists the assistance of a former military operative named Zora before persuading a paleontologist named Henry Loomis to accompany them due to his expertise. Zora arranges for them to meet with her old friend Duncan in Suriname to assist them, despite Martin's annoyance that Zora and Duncan had already taken more money from him. He invites along his crew of Leclerc, who primarily spoke French, Nina, and a guy named Bobby, who is eager to shoot at the dinosaurs. The group departs for the island via boat, but along the way they discover a family consisting of Ruben, Isabella, Teresa, and Teresa's good-for-nothing lover, Xavier. They are attempting to cruise to Cape Town, but when they come too close to the island, a mosasaurus sunk their ship. Despite protestations, Duncan agrees to answer their Mayday call and save the family, but they are horrified to discover that this organization is attempting to obtain the mosasaurus's blood. You know, the same one that boat capped them? Fortunately, Zora does get it thanks to Henry. Their joy was cut short when a group of Spinosaurus returned and caused mayhem. They will eventually chunk down Bobby before they can escape. When Martin almost kills Teresa when the ship runs aground, the entire Delgado family dives overboard to help her against Zora's protests. The entire crew reaches it to shore, but while transporting emergency supplies, Nina is captured by a Spinosaurus and eaten. The remaining team, horrified by what has transpired yet determined, heads into the jungle. Zora explains that an emergency chopper will arrive in 24 hours, but they must be at the old lab's helipad and ready to fly or risk being left behind. The crew and the Delgados travel separately through the jungle, barely surviving the dangers that lurk within. Notably, Isabella befriends a small herbivore dinosaur by feeding it licorice sweets from her backpack, and it helps them out by smelling danger. When the Delgados try to retrieve a raft, it becomes a game of Tom and Jerry when they narrowly avoid being eaten by a T-Rex before heading downstream, where the raft survives the onslaught. The other crew successfully collects the Titanosaurus sample. Emotions ran high to the point it seems Henry was going hump its leg. They later tasked themselves to climb high to collect a Quetzalcoatlus egg sample. Zora and Henry nearly escape a confrontation with one, but Leclerc, who rescued them by making a commotion outside, is devoured whole by the dinosaur. Poor Duncan, now devastated by the loss of his entire staff and everything going to shit, but they must continue with the suicide mission. Everyone arrives at the laboratory at dark, much to Zora's relief. When Zora and the team discover Martin was the one who abandoned Teresa to drown in the sea, he draws a gun and grabs the samples. This is when the mutant dinosaurs assault. The Delgados run into the tunnels inside the grocery shop. Martin manages to escape with the UTV, and Duncan and Henry discover the tunnels are leading to an urgent exit boat at the docks. All of a sudden, the helicopter arrived but flew by. When Henry persuaded the helicopter to return, they didn't see anyone at first. The D-Rex smashes it and causes it to explode on landing with the ground. Everyone ends down in the tunnels. Zora spots a dinosaur and shoots it, and they end up exactly by the harbor, where they should be. Unfortunately, the gate is locked and only Isabella can enter. As she squeezes through and attempts to unlock the gate, the D-Rex approaches her and prepares to hunker down for a tiny feast. Ooh, shit. The gate finally opens. Out of nowhere, Martins runs into D-Rex and gets chunked down like a Slim Jim. Zora then takes the samples. However, as they all arrive at the vessel, the D-Rex appears and was back for more delicious buffet. Duncan sacrifices himself with the flares to deter the D-Rex, while Zora, Henry, and the Delgados board the boat and ready to go. Zora is devastated until she spots a flare shoot off, signaling that Duncan is alive. He swims to their boat and everyone gets on. The film concludes with Zora mentioning something Henry had brought up earlier in the film. What if they could employ the samples to help everyone for free? He agrees as the boat speeds away into the wide water. If you love quick recaps like this for your lunch break while you're working, please like or subscribe to help the channel. Thank you for watching.